start my recording.
Just one whole one?
Yeah.
And so we assume that works, or should I do separate one?
We should get doing that at Okay, Shane Palakot Nelson, you are up.
So I'm going to give you a 30-second warning. That's all.
So we'll submit physically.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
I'll go get the binder.
And you get a timer. I can pull up this for now.
And it's not an addendum, but I'll just add that as well.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so just turn it towards you a little bit. Yeah, just try to speak this directly into the mic.
Oh, is this?
Down here.
Okay. Aloha mai kākou. My name is Shane Palakot Nelson, representing the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Today we come here to provide strong support for the Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area. We're here to basically support, not just support the Miloli community, but also to ensure that their traditional and customary practices, their knowledge, and everything that comes from this particular region becomes part of or embedded within the process, as well as moving forward in the future. So one of the things that we like to also acknowledge is that in the spirit of the Paukalani Declaration, the Ka'ahapono of 2003, where Native Hawaiian intellectual property rights conference was held in Waikiki, and the passage of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples at its 2007 General Assembly, OHA supports and encourages Native Hawaiian communities and individuals to the right of self-determination, and by virtue of that right, to freely determine their political status to pursue their economic, social, and cultural development, which includes determining appropriate use of their traditional knowledge, culture expression, art forms, and natural and biological resources. The Hawaii State Legislature in 2004's session, via the Senate Resolution 87, recognizing Native Hawaiians as traditional indigenous knowledge holders and recognizing their collective intellectual property rights, reported that the value of Native Hawaiian traditional knowledge is exhibited in many forms, including through natural resource management principles, such as this particular CBSFA that's being developed, through Malama Aina, Ahupua'a systems, agricultural systems, as well as La'au Lapa'au and wayfinding, Kaho'okele. I'd also like to point out that there's an article that was published in 2012, March of 2012. There's an article by Kittinger and as well as by McClanahan regarding multi-century trends and the sustainability of coral reef fisheries in Hawaii and Florida. What they reported was that less than 200 years ago, the 8 main Hawaiian Islands resources sustained a thriving population that was close to contemporary numbers through a resource governance system founded on observational, experiential knowledge for centuries that were practiced. The research also affirms that Native Hawaiian sustainably caught 50% more fish than modern Hawaii fishers, providing that Native Hawaiian traditional marine management provided 3 times the maximum sustainable yield for the island's nation worldwide. So we'd like to offer this testimony in support of Miloli's CBSFA, not just because of the management, but also the ike kupuna that is brought to this process and how that value is really important to this process. So mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony.
Yeah. You got the copy already?
I got it. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's in the session.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Aloha.
The hell mama. Wait, for all the kiddos.
Yeah.
Later.
Next up is Alakai Kama.
So we're gonna take Timoteo.
Okay. Okay. Aloha. Okay. Take a seat if you like, or you can stand. Either way.
Can I sit down? You got this, buddy. And I'll
And just try to speak into the mic. Yeah. Okay, I can.
I'll let you know when you got 30 seconds.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Aloha, my name is Timoteo. I was born and raised here in Miloli. With my ohanas, mahalo for this opportunity. I'm here testifying in support of rules package for Miloli CBSFA recommendation. My ohana are fishermen of Miloli or Kapuna have always been fishing in this area. Today we continue this kuleana to Malama Aina. We continue to feed and maintain the Koa fishing grounds. Today I'm here providing testimony in support of the rules package, our traditional and customary fishing practice are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu'u on unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapuʻuhonua Point. Honomalino, as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. I like no-take Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA until ready. My commitment is to decide be covered of their abandonment. I live here in Miloli with my ohana. I am a student at Puʻuhonua and I do my part for kilo data collection in my classroom. I support my family fishing lifestyle and the work that my ohana is doing for the rules. Miloli is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to prove this testimony.
Thank you for your testimony.
Is it Makamai or this one?
Makamai.
Okay.
Next up is Makamai Kama.
And then Kaden.
And one thing I forgot to mention, please state your name, your place of residence, and whether you are in support or are against the proposed rules, please.
Hi, my name is Makamai. My name is Makamai. I am the granddaughter of Emote Tuna and Bruce Kahele. I was born and raised here in Miloli with my ohana. Mahalo for this opportunity. I am here testifying in support of the rules package for Miloli CBSFA with recommendation. My ohana are fishermen of Miloli. Our Kapuna have always been fishing in this area. Today we are continuing on this kuleana to Malama Aina. We continue to feed and maintain and the koa fishing grounds. Today I am here to providing testimony in support of the rules package. Our traditional and customary fishing practice are reflected in this rule package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Puʻuhonua Point, Honomalino, as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloli appeals for Kapuʻuhonua no-take for Kapuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until and agreed upon sunset data. This highest protection of Kanaka behavior is our commitment to assist the recovery of their livelihoods. I live here in Miloli with my ohana. I am a student at Puʻuhonua and I do my part of kilo data collection in my classroom. I support my family fishing lifestyle and the work that my ohana is doing for the rules. Miloli is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Mahalo for your testimony.
Good job.
Okay, the next four are going to be Caden Matthews, Taimane Lengsi Fore, Julia Sanchez, and Wesley Basinga.
Twist them.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's kick into the
So you
mic,
can
my
just
dear.
speak right into the mic.
Hello, my name is Caden.
You got this.
Hello, my name is Caden Matthews. I was born and raised here in Hawaii, Miloli, with my ohana. Mahalo for this opportunity. I am here testifying in support of the rules package of Miloli and CBSFA with recommendations. My ohana are fishermen of Miloli. Our kapuna have always been fishing in this area. Today we continue this kuleana to Malama Aina. We continue to feed and maintain the koa fishing grounds. Today I am here providing testimony in support of the rules package. Our traditional and customary fishing practice are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapuʻuhonua Point, Honomalino, as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. I like Kapuʻuhonua no-take of Pākuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be until ready. My commitment is assist the recovery of their abandonment. I live here in Miloli with my ʻŌpelu. I'm a student to Kīpāhoehoe. I do my part of kilo data collection in my classroom. I support my family fishing lifestyle and work that my ohana is doing for the rules. Miloli is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Mahalo. Yeah, there's a blue one out there. Thank you. That blue one, I think it's
like blue or
behind
gray.
the stage here.
Come on, give us a different items.
Time on? Go ahead, whenever you're ready.
You're fine,
Don't be,
my
you're
dear.
great. You're gonna do great.
We're friendly. Just speak into the mic or just read into the mic. You got this.
I feel like everyone
Can I stop? Can I not say that? Do I have to say my name?
Oh, I'm scared.
Aloha, my name is. I'm on the verge of crying. Aloha, my name is Native Hawaiian. I'm the granddaughter of Ūwithin and Stephanie Lani State. I was born and raised in Miloli with my mom. Mahalo for this opportunity. I'm here testifying in support of rules package for Miloli CBSFA with recommendations. My ohana are fishermen from Miloli. Our kokina have always been fishing in this area. Today we continue this kuleana and to malama item. We continue to feed and maintain the koa. Today I am here providing testimony in support of rule package. Our traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package. Placing our kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point to Kapuʻuhonua Point. Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designated Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloli appeals for Kapuʻuhonua of Pākuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until an agreed upon sunset date. The highest protection of Kanaka behavior is our commitment to assisting the recovery of abundance. I live here in Miloli with my ohana. I am a student at Puʻuhonua Pāpā, and I do my part of kilo data collection in my classroom. I support my family's fishing style and the work my ohana is doing for my work. Miloli is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Thank you.
Good job, my dear.
Julia? Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Aloha.
Yes, into the mic.
Aloha, my name is Julia Sanchez. I was born and raised here in Miloli with my ohana. Mahalo for this opportunity. I am here testifying in support of the rules package for Miloli CBSFA with recommendations. My ohana are fishermen of Miloli. Our kupuna have always been fishing in this area. Today we continue this kuleana to Malama Island. We have continued to feed the maintain of koa fishing grounds. Today I'm here providing testimony in support of the rules package for our traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designed from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapuʻuhonua Point, Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designed as a Puʻuhonua subzone, like no take of Puʻuhonua throughout the CBSFA to be placed until agreed upon sunset date. My commitment is to assist the recovery of their abundance. I live here in Miloli with my ohana. I am a student of Puʻuhonua Pāpā. I do my part of kilo data collection in my classroom. I support my family's fishing lifestyle and the work that my ohana is doing for the rules. Miloli is our home. We malama aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Next up, we have Wesley Basinga, and after that, we will have Kaikea Nakachi, Mike Nakachi, Damian Kennison, and Glender Kennison. All right, Wesley, go right ahead whenever you're ready.
Aloha, my name.
Right into the mic.
Aloha, my name is Wesley Basinga. I was born and raised here in Miloli. My ohana, mahalo for this opportunity. I am here testifying in support of the rule packaging for Miloli CBSFA with recommendations. My ohana are fishermen of Miloli. Our kupuna have always been fishing in this area. Today we continue this kuleana to Malama Aina. We continue to feed and maintain the koa fishing ground. Today I am here to provide testimony in support of the root packaging. Our traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules packaging, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point to Kapuʻuhonua Point, Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloliʻi appeals for Puʻuhonua Kapuʻa, no taking of Pakuʻikuʻi through the CBSFA to be established until an agreed on sunset date. This highest protection from Kanaka behavior is our community to assist the recovery of their abundance. I live here in Miloli with my ohana. I am a student of Puʻuhonua, and I am do my part of kilo data collecting in my classroom. I support my family's fishing lifestyle and the work that my ohana is doing for the ruse. Miloli is our home. We malama and our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Good job, boy.
Mahalo. Mahalo for your testimony.
So, Kaikea.
Okay, Kaikea Nakachi next.
And like,
Kaikea Nakachi.
he's walking up.
What?
Yeah, Kaikea's walking up. I don't know, like, they're not like running.
How are you guys?
Hi.
Feel free to adjust it.
Okay.
You do.
Oh, so awesome to see the kids, yeah.
Right, that's
Right on. Well, my name is Kaikea Nakachi from North Kaunā, and I am in full support of Miloliʻi and their proposed rules package and their recommendations for the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area for their CBSFA. As the Kanaka of this land, their ancestral land, they have every right, in fact, the only right, to assume the kuleana of their future in their own hands. I believe we must always acknowledge place and people of place. Miloliʻi acknowledged and supported us at Kaupūlehu, and we recognize and return the acknowledgement and support for Miloliʻi. The survival of our people and our cultural resources depend on the perpetuation of Hawaiians continuing to live where they have for generations and continuing their practice of malama and sustainable subsistence. Successful resource management has been known by Hawaiian knowledge keepers like our Miloliʻi ohana for centuries. Our future can be one of aina momona again if we just listen and relearn the importance of malama and aloha aina. I've very much enjoyed listening and encourage agency, fishers, community, Mr. UN, and all to listen to the kupuna and the keiki of Miloliʻi. I promise that you'll learn plenty, more than just what it means to be sustainable. There aren't many places left in Hawaii like Miloliʻi, and we must protect them at all costs. I support Miloliʻi and their proposed rule package and their recommendations for their CBSFA, and I encourage you all to listen and do the same. Mahalo nui to the people of Miloliʻi for welcoming us here today, and mahalo for your time. I'll keep my testimony short so we can focus on listening more to the kama'aina of Miloliʻi. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo for your testimony. Thank you.
And then,
Aloha, Mike. Go for it whenever you're ready.
Aloha mai kako, everyone. My name is Mike Nakachi. I humbly come before you all from the Ahupua'a of Waikoloa. Blessed to be here on this Moku o Keawe. And it's from a humble place to be on this aina right now and be here with many of you. And I think back to a time in the late 80s, standing with Willie Kaupiko and Uncle Walter Paulo and being a part of the fish working group and trying to realize a dream of a CBSFA with Dr. Kimberly Lowe. And to see it to be at this point, at this precipice of going over the edge is a very gratifying thing for the ohana here in Miloli. But I just want to reflect on some traditional and customary practices. And what I feel here and what I see here is tremendous aloha fa'aina. And then number two is the ability of the community here of Miloli to malama their aina. But here is the third thing that people just are afraid to do. And that is to go back to aina momona. How do we restore abundance? And it is imperative that DLNR, BLNR, DAR, DoCare, Makai Watch, and also people that have undying love for the people of Miloli all come together to see this type of process holomua and move forward. And I want to talk another thing about us as a modern Kanaka society, and something that my parents taught me when I was a young kid that I will always be grateful for as kupuna. They taught me one vital thing that still is applying to me today as a modern Kanaka. And it is before I come to this kuleana of Miloli'i, whether I'm coming to Two Stone in Kīpāhoehoe or I'm going or egressing through the area to Kaunā or beyond that, I still do one vital thing, and that is to ask permission of the konuiki of this area. And I think for most of us, it's something that cannot be forgotten. We always have to be remembering the sense of place and honoring those kupuna and the people that make this the kuleana. I am in full support of this Miloli'i CBSFA. Imu.
Thank you for your testimony.
But we could say the next ones.
Okay, next we'll have Damian Kennison, followed by Kaimi Kaupiko, Healani Cahill, and Mac Poi Poi.
Whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
Aloha mai kako. Aloha Miloli. My name is Damian Kennison. I'm from Hokena. My wife and I are from Hokena. I learned how to fish pono from my father-in-law, Jory Alani, and his sons. Hokena and Miloli always competed, sports or fishing, but in the end, our common bond is we are Hawaiians who care for and want to protect our ia and traditional practices for our children. In 1978, Hokena had the first canoe fishing tournament, and the winner was Kale Martinez from Miloli. Kale was my mother-in-law's godson. We share plenty of bonds with Miloli, marital and hanai, and we worked together a lot. I worked with Willie Kopiko to stop the tropical fish collectors from stealing all our fish. In 2003, my wife and I attended the first meeting on Molokai. And it gave us hope, it gave us Hawaiians hope that we were going to be able to perpetuate our cultural traditions and protect our fish. At that meeting was Gilbert Kahele and Melissa Lani Hua. Throughout the years, throughout all the meetings we attended with Miloli, it was a long road to get to this point where we are now. But along the way, Gilbert Kahele and Willie Kapiko told me, "Hey Damian, no worry, when we get ours, you guys gonna get yours." So that's why I'm here, to make sure Miloli get their rules passed so we can move 12 miles up north to Ho'okena and start this process all over. Mahalo.
Mahalo for your testimony.
Amy, can you my dad too? My dad too. He'll come in because I don't want to go with the info. Perfect. Call him after. He's out there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, whenever ready. Okay. All right. Aloha mai kako. My name is Kaimi Kaupiko, and I am here today to continue to support our efforts to malama our ocean. This proposal is the hard work and dedication of all the kupuna that have come before us, that have passed, and now we're here to reaffirm those practices of traditional fishing in Miloli'i. I'm a long-time resident and descendant of this community, and I really believe in its future. For the next 7 generations, we must continue to reaffirm and confirm these practices so that our lifestyle of subsistence fishing can survive. Of course, Miloli remains the last in our ways of life, and most of us fish our Native Hawaiian here in the community. Today, we continue that kuleana to malama aina. After getting designated in 2005, we have been working on the ground to get through this process, and it's over almost 20 years that we are here today to finally reconfirm that tradition. So I'm here to say that I approve and support the plans, particularly on most of the rules, and on specific areas I want to just confirm regarding the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Makahiki Point Pāpā to Pulau Point, Honomalino, and as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua. And I also support the species rules to reflect that of what our community has designated as they are the generational stories of Miloli. So in conclusion, I just wanted to share that Miloli is beloved by Native Hawaiians everywhere who appreciate the sacrifice and persistence of the people in this community holding Native Hawaiian fishing practices. And it is one of the last culture kipukas or enclave because they retain traditional knowledge. So I support this subsistence fishing community in their kuleana to malama aina. And I want to say with that, mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. Oh, how do I start? Well, aloha. This is Willie Kaupiko. I'm very happy to see that we came to the end. It's been a long battle to recognize something that we think so important to our village. And I'm so glad. I'm thinking about my kupunas. I like to cry because I know how they feel that if we don't stand up for what we believe, we're going to lose it. So I'm glad that we didn't give up. We stood there hand in hand and we went through this. And I'm glad today is the day that we can say mahalo to all our kupunas for helping us to make decisions what we need to do for the next generations. So I just hope that our children gotta carry on what we did. We're gonna pass it everything down to them so they can appreciate the aina and malama this place so they get future. And I wanna thank the Docare and all the people who made this possible for us. And we got a next journey to go and see what we can replenish our place, because I grew up here when I know the fish was so much. I look on the reef, I don't see nothing. I don't see yellow tang, I don't see palani, I don't see no fish. So I don't know what to say, people. Everything is changing in the water, but it's time that not only us in Miloli, all the ahomokos on the islands, all around, need to makaala to their place, see what's happening, so they can stand up. Don't wait too late. This is the time. The world is changing, the water is changing, everything is changing. So let's step up to the program and see what's important. If we want our garden to be green and fast with fish, we must malama. That's all I kind of say. So I want to just thank the board that this thing is complete so we can move on to the next journey and see what we got to do to our ocean to replenish those fishes that are depleted. It's terrible. We work in the biologist and he's saying the quality of the water is not healthy. So we got to get a future of what we need to do to establish the limo and the corals. You know, there's a lot of changes. That's why I'm looking, thinking, what's going on? Why the fish not here? But anyway, we have a long responsibility, people. But today is the day that we can say mahalo to Akua to bringing us to the settlement and finish up, and we can move on to continue what's necessary and look forward for our future. So mahalo nui loa to every one of you. Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo. Speak right into the mic whenever you're ready.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Helani Cahill. I'm here today with a very full heart to stand up today for supporting Miloli'i, as I have supported Miloli'i many years, decades already. I'm here to stand up in support of the CBSFA that they have diligently worked for the past few years now, and I am extremely happy. My work, I'm a cultural practitioner here in South Kona. I have a site in Honanao that I will soon be doing the same kind of work there. I started here in Miloli'i, as many of you know, years ago, working with the kids that are now the ones that are leading this this much needed awareness about our shorelines, our aina, and all the things that we hold dear here in Hawaii. I'm especially proud of what is being done now and continue to work and support Miloli'i and all that they have progressed throughout the years. I'm not a great speaker, but this is a place that is very dear to me. Many of the kupunas that I've had the good luck to have been a part of their lives when they were here, I know that they are here now, and I know that they are happy that the choices that are being made today and going forward will reflect what they have taught in the past. And these things I am grateful for, and continue to work in my work with bringing children to know that they have these possibilities and these options to choose from in their lives. And mahalo for all that everyone has done to bring this to what it is today. And we continue on our journey. Mahalo, nui loa. What I said it.
You are a listener. Wherever you want. You take it off. Where you want to sit? You want to stand or sit?
In Hawaiian society, our kuleana as kanaka is to respect, understand, and malamana aina. We are caretakers of his land and all our natural resources of which we belong to. In turn, the aina nourishes us, it teaches us, we learn, and in time we will know. Hello, kako. My name is Mac Poi Poi, and I am honored for this privilege to provide testimony in strong support of Miloli's rules packages. These rules prepared by the people of this place is an indication of a system suffering from over-extraction by those with little or no concern for the resources in order for it to recover to a sustainable level. For the past 3 years, I have developed a close relationship to this place and to the people who have been here for many generations. I have been involved with this community in conducting research to develop these rules, which the community feel can improve the health of their resources and at the same time align with their needs to feed their families. Having first-hand knowledge and observation of the resources of this particular coastline, I can say from personal experience as a lifelong Lawai'a, there is strong evidence that suggests a management plan along with a rules package be developed to meet and sustain the needs of the people. Recognizing past failures and non-pono practices, we can start to implement this plan and learn as we move along. It allows for the people to have a voice in deciding what rules and best practices are aligned with the needs of the people of this village. As I have listened to some of the manao from personnel of DAR and policymakers, I cannot help feeling frustrated when a narrative of managing our resources shift to satisfy those who stand in opposition for whatever reasons. Most of the time, without a plan to fill that void of which they are creating and are responsible for. The Miloli fishing villagers' lifestyle alone speaks volumes of a place suspended in time and an ancestral ike guiding them to a new time. In this new time, we are witnessing the descendants taking on this kuleana and applying the ancestral ike that is in part the foundation of these rules. The purpose of these rules is to ensure the people of this village that they will be able to continue to feed their families in perpetuity, following in the footprints of their ancestors as they continue the traditional and customary practices to malama their resources.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you. The whole Kapuʻu family.
Okay, next up we have Cyrus Kaupu, Lila Kaupu, Lavelin Kaupu, Viola Kaupu, and Levi Kaupu. Was it?
Yeah, I'll put it in.
Okay, whenever you're
Sorry,
ready.
when you're ready.
Aloha, my name is Cyrus Puʻuhonua. I am 12 years old and born and raised in Miloli. I'm a lineal descendant of Ho'opoloa, Miloli, Omaka, and so much more. I attend Kuokala Hipu'u Charter School here in Miloli. I am before you today to testify my support for Miloli CBSFA. My Papa Levi and Mama Viola Grace Kapu'u are ʻŌpelu fishers of Miloli, and so is my mom. I go honolulu with my Papa and my mom and Uncle Will, and I learned the ways of ʻŌpelu fishing from them. From scraping pumpkin and kalo to going to the koa and identifying the landmarks and to knocking on the side of the boat to let the kapuna know we are here. Before we enter with the mea'ai, the best part is when we pull out our catch and the first thing that either my papa or my mom says is here, handing me 2 of the biggest ʻŌpelu to honey and get back to Kaunā with my mom. As a haumana of Kuokala in Miloli, I do my part to kilo, collecting eDNA, monitoring our kai and learning different methods of science, surveying in my classroom, the Puakaiʻa Miloliʻi area. I support the fishing lifestyle my family and I live. And I support the work that my mom, my uncles, my aunties, and the kapuna seen and unseen of Miloli is doing and has done for the rooms and the Miloli community. Today I send a kahea of kapuloa or no take of pāku or Pākuʻikuʻi in the entry of Miloli CBSFA to be placed until agreed upon time to lift that kapu. I also send kahea to keep the original zoning for Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area from Paʻakai Point in Pāpā to Kapu'u in Honomalino. My commitment is to assist in this recovery of their abundance, being that the Miloli CBSFA was the 4 years before my birth, and as a next generation of Hawaiian and watermen, I hope to continue catching and eating these onoia well into my adulthood, a time where I can continue to eat the stories of our kapuna lolaina. Mahalo for allowing me the time and space to share. Aloha.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Velina mai kako. I am Laila Kaupu, lineal descendant of Miloliʻi, Omaka, and Ho'opoloa. Today I stand before you, Dar, Delia, and my ohana of Miloliʻi, for my kupuna, for my aina, and for my keiki, Cyrus Pohakaluaiki Kemakurima Kaupu, in support for the Miloliʻi Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area Management Plan. But yes, with comments and recommendations, and a few more lelo to tell. Miloliʻi. Earlier, I mentioned 2 stories whispered no longer. Here today, I tell one of land and one of sea. Story of land talks of how this little village was known for weaving, twisting, and creating the finest senet rope made of olona and milo for lawaiʻa, kalaiva'a, and hale builders, and so much more. Kaunā. Story of sea talks of how the awa, by the pier, is the gathering place for the swirling currents, the swirling nutrient-rich Kaunā and Ka'u currents, the swirling currents filled with life, Kanaloa. The only way for the state to learn this and understand it fully is through the lens of the community and the Hawaiian values, such as Aloha Aina, Malama Aina, which emphasizes that generational inheritance of stewardship to the Aina. But I'm not just talking about care for land, sea, and all the in-betweens, but the care for Aina, that in which feeds. It's that pilina, that environmental relationship and connection that is invisibly woven into all of us, whereby if you care for land, the land will care for you. CBSFAs represent a state-recognized avenue for local community groups to do exactly that. Malama Aina, Aloha Aina. CBSFAs represent a more bottom-up approach for fisheries management that is place-based in nature and community-driven, as well as an avenue for DLNR to fulfill its obligations to protect traditional and customary practices as a matter of law, the public trust, and ceded land trusts. Hence, the Hawaii Revised Statutes 188-22.6, established in 1994. Mahalo nui at that time to the late Governor John Waihee and his convened task force. Born and raised in a time where never ask why, just watch and learn. And the Paʻakauaha Hanakalimo was and still is one of the many values of life. I still live in these times. Even though the generations have passed, it's a Hawaiian tradition. It's the culture practice. It's the Hawaiian values and codes of conduct. And actually, knowing what you can give back before even taking. This is also my kuleana as a makua, to feed ike and mo'olelo of people, ohana and place, to feed values and practices, to be that aina for my son. But in order for me to continue feeding, I too must be fed. With all of this being said, I support the original intended Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area from Makahiki Point in Pāpā to Kapulao Point in Honomalino, with a kahea to the masses of placing a kapu loa, no take, of Pākuʻikuʻi within the entire CBSFA, to be placed until an agreed upon time to lift that kapu coming from the community. As a Mohala Nakonahiki apprentice, this is my commitment. Mahalo nui.
All right. Velina mai kako, o wao o leveling kaloka mahele Anomalia kainoa Grace ka upu. O ka palilo ka aina hanau he moku, kila kila mauna loa ko hivi nani o Hawai'i. Kaima oki oki kuukai, o ke hau kamakani I puliki ai ko kako aina hanau. Aloha everyone, I am Leveling Kaupu, and I am a descendant of Kapalilua. Mahalo for granting me this opportunity to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area, CBSFA, with recommendations. My ohana and I are generational stewards of Miloli'i, specifically Omoka'a, Ho'opuloa, and Alika Pāpā. Our kupuna and ohana have always been well established in this area of Miloli'i, Ho'opuloa, and throughout Kapalilua. I personally have seen social and economic changes throughout my homeland and have experienced technological advancement as well as a huge increase in development and daily tourist visitation that has impacted not only our lifestyle and way of living, but most importantly, our natural resources that sustain us today. Today we continue to awamo our kuleana to malama aina, caring for the marine resources of this place. We continue to feed and maintain the ko'a, specifically the ʻŌpelu ko'a of this coastline, in the same way our kupuna have done for generations. We were granted CBSFA designation in 2005, and in 2019, Kalani Hale represented our subsistence fishing village, making it known that we were ready to create a rules package.
Today, I am here providing testimony in support of the rules package. Miloli CBSFA Strategic and Planning Hui, which I have been a part of since the very beginning, held extensive outreach, public scoping, family individual interviews, and peer review with various communities, partners, and colleagues, from fishery networks to share our narrative, marine management plan, and proposed rules. Our traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. We're requesting approval to hold this public hearing. The rules package proposed by our community was modified. Therefore, I provide recommendations of 2 specifics of the rule package regarding those changes. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapuʻau Point. Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloli appeals for kapulua, no take of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until an agreed upon sunset date. This highest protection from Kanaka behavior is our commitment to assisting the recovery of their abundance. On behalf of my ohana and I, mahalo again for allowing us this time and space to share our testimony. Again, I testify in support of this rules package of Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area, CBSFA, with recommendations. Ea mako na kaua o ke kai, no ke ku pali pele o ka palilua, no ke ao ho'o vili vili o ke awa. Ea mako na kaua o ke kai, no ka lihau o ke hau, no ka aha pa'a o ka milo. Ea mako na kaua o ke kai, piko u mai ka aina a ke kai. I molo molo mai ka hua a ka mai. Aloha me ka pono o ke kai e. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Whenever you're ready, grab the mic.
Aloha. My name is Viola Kaupu, born and raised at Omoka'a with my ohanas who are all Lawaias. I now reside at Miloli Ho'opulua with my family. My husband and I used to go fishing and have seen how plentiful all kinds of fishes were from the shoreline to the ahi and ʻŌpelu ko'as. But now, a'ole. Why? Because people only know how to take and no give back to the aina and to the kai. Sure, there's fish, but I can certainly say for a fact, it's not how it used to be. Why? Because our kupuna and all the people work together. Ke ia la a'ale, no more, no more. I support the CBSFA, Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area, because we need to replenish these species and others within these areas, kapulua, throughout the CBSFA. So I humbly ask that Miloli CBSFA rules package be accepted because it's the people of the community who knows what's happening and who have seen the changes throughout the years and not outsiders telling us what is acceptable for our community. This is a quote from my dad, who we call the old man of the sea. My kupuna, who no longer is with us physically, but here spiritually, quote, you know, if we're not going to show our talent to the kids, what we learned from our kupuna, they're not going to learn nothing. Kalamai, make this happen for our community. Mahalo. Mahalo.
Hello everybody, my name is Levi Kaupu. I probably not born and raised from down here, but I used to live in Puʻuhonua with my grandma, and I used to come here every summer because my mom and dad used to live here. And I used to go fishing with my dad off and on when I could. And when I was 9 years old, my first fish I caught was over 100-pound size ahi. Now you can imagine if a 9-year-old boy can go out there and catch that kind of fish. You can imagine how much fish had out there. But anyway, I'm in support of the Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area. I'm helping our people and the resources to make our community thrive again. People need to malama our ocean, our resources, and our aina. The people going to get greedy and only take what we as the community get to look forward to is nothing. So please help our Miloli CBSFA in achieving their goals, so then they in return can help our Miloli community with the needed resources. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Caleb Labo, Elijah Labo, Leah Labo, and Kaua Labo. Come on in. And whenever you're ready, just speak right into the mic, please.
Aloha, my name is Caleb Labo and I moved to the subdivision right outside of Miloli'i Village in 2019. Mahalo for this opportunity. I am here testifying in support of the rules package for Miloli'i CBSFA with recommendations. Today I am here providing testimony in support of the rules package. Miloli'i's traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. As an active member of the community, I have been able to witness the importance of the CBSFA. I support the Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapalau Point, Honomalino, as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloli'i appeals for kapuloa of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until an agreed upon sunset date. This highest protection from Kanaka behavior is our commitment to assisting the recovery of their abundance. I am an active community member and a former student at Kuaʻokalahi Puʻu. I have done my part in kilo collection during my time in the classroom. Through this kilo, I have become more aware of my environment and the impact my actions have upon it. Miloli'i is my home, and I would do all that I can to make sure that it thrives for future generations. Miloli'i, a fishing village, relies on fish. The fish are a huge part of the identity of this village. With this, I support my family's fishing lifestyle and all the work that my ohana are doing for the rules. Miloli'i is our home. We malama the aina and feed our people. The CBSFA is very important for us to continue maintaining these values. Mahalo for this opportunity to provide testimony. Aloha.
Go for it, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Aloha, my name is Elijah Labo. I moved to the subdivision right outside of Miloli'i in 2019 with my ohana. Mahalo for this opportunity. I am here testifying in support of the rules package for Miloli'i CBSFA with recommendations. Today, I am here providing testimony in support of the rules package. Miloli'i's traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on the unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapalau Point, Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloli'i appeals for the kapuloa of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until an agreed upon sunset date. This highest protection from Kanaka behavior is our commitment to assisting the recovery of their abundance. Being more involved in the community has given me the understanding of how important it is to protect our aina. With the CBSFA, we can ensure that the recovery of our aina is in good hands. It has been a blessing to live in such a beautiful place, and I hope the future Miloli'i can live on throughout the generations. Miloli'i is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Leia Labo. I moved to the subdivision right outside of Miloli in 2019 with my ohana. Mahalo for this opportunity. I am here testifying in support of the rules package for Miloli CBSFA with recommendations. Today, I am here providing testimony in support of the rules package. Miloli's traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapuʻuhonua Point. Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloli appeals for Kapuʻuhonua no-take of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until agreed upon sunset date. This highest protection from Kanaka behavior is our commitment to assisting the recovery of their abundance. I'm a student at Kuokala Puʻu and I do my part of kilo data collection in my classroom. I support my family's fishing lifestyle and the work that my ohana is doing for the rules. Miloli is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Aloha, my name is Ka'ua Labo. I was born on Oahu, but in 2019, my ohana and I moved to Kapalilua in Pāpā, the subdivision just outside of Miloli'i village. Miloli'i has opened their arms to my ohana and made us feel like this is our one true home. On behalf of my ohana, I'd like to mahalo Miloli'i for allowing us to be here today, and further to be an apprentice of Mohala na Konahiki, which made protecting Miloli'i my kuleana. Being from Kahuku, Oahu, and a daughter of Lavaʻa parents, I've seen the effects of unknowing, unsustainable harvest practices, coupled with the pollution from shrimp farms, and it has completely devastated the resources available for the people. Only now, 25 years later, Kahuku is starting to make a comeback due to the rest that it was forced to undergo. Kahuku once looked like beautiful Miloli'i and the surrounding Puʻuhonuas, and it is for this reason that I fully and passionately support the rules package for Miloli'i CBSFA. If we don't malama our marine ecosystem now through sustainable harvest practices and reduction of land-based pollution, our home now could and will have similar devastating effects. Most importantly, the children and next generations are the primary focus of our efforts. What will be left for them? Although myself, my husband, and 3 elder children are malihinis, my youngest child, who is 1.5 years old, was born in my house on this land. He is rooted in this place, and I'm fighting for Miloli'i CBSFA to see through that my son, along with all the keiki here, are able to become educated on sustainable fishing practices through our example and sustain themselves from this ocean for generations to come. Today I am here providing testimony in support of the rules package. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapuʻuhonua Point. Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Miloli'i appeals for Kapuʻuhonua no-take of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until an agreed upon date. Mahalo for the opportunity to share my testimony. Miloli'i is all of our home. Help us to malama it. Mahalo.
Okay, next up we have Pilimai Traub, La'a Poipoi, Michaela Alford, and Carolyn Gershman.
I just want to make sure there's no, I'd probably get somebody calling me before I started.
Right, yeah, whenever you're ready.
Aloha, my name is Pilimai Traub, and I was born on Oahu. I've lived in Ka'u, however, for the last 30 years, raising my children in this community. I've been a kumu in West Hawaii for over 35 years, and currently I'm a kumu with Kuokala's Virtual Academy in Miloli'i. I feel very honored to work with the next generation of youth from Miloli'i, who will be our future stewards of this aina and whose kuleana it will be to ensure Miloli'i's future fisheries will continue to sustain the people of Miloli'i for future generations as it has in the past. Mahalo for this opportunity. I'm here to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area, CBSFA. The people of Miloli are generational stewards of their place. They can trace their lineage to time before Western contact. Today, they continue to awama their kuleana to malama aina, caring for the marine resources of their place. The koa of their coastline are still fed and maintained by Ohana of Miloli, much in the manner of their kupuna. CBSFA designation was granted in Miloli in 2005. In 2019, Kalani Hali presented their subsistence fishing village, informed DLNR they were ready to create a rules package. Today, I'm here to provide testimony in support of their rule package. Their traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. The landmarks used by their kupuna are the same landmarks they use today, and some of which have become part of the rules package as boundaries for the CBSFA subzones. At the request for a public hearing, Miloli's proposed rules package was modified. I support the recommendations of the Miloli Committee on 2 points of the rules package. I support the Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapulau Point, Honomalino, as Honomalino Bay is designated at a Puʻuhonua subzone. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi species rule to reflect that of what Miloli community designates as they are the generational stewards of Kapalilua. Miloli is a cultural kipu'u in South Kona, and its people are Maoliau Honua, well-established and descendants of the old chief of Kapalilua. I support this subsistence fishing community and their kuleana to malama aina and feed people now and into the future. This rules package reflects the sound rationale for their traditional fishing practices and express their intimate relationship they have with their aina. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony in support of Miloli's CBSFA. Aloha.
Mahalo.
Yeah, we'll get it back. And you can start
Whenever you're ready. Just right into the microphone. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. Maybe move that chair. All right then. I think I good. Okay. So, name La'apoipoi, from Molokai, and I came here to support. I came here to support the efforts of the people of Miloli and supporting a lot of their efforts to get the designation. Thank you.
Mahalo.
And then who's after that? I'm sure they are.
Whenever you're ready, right into the microphone.
Hello, my name is Kukulu.
You might have to get closer, sorry.
Aloha, my name is Puʻuhonua Pāpā.
Aloha, my name is Amoy Kaituna. Our pilina that holds us to this place, Miloli'i, goes back to the ancient ways of observation. Mauli'ai honua. We are here to testify in support of the rules package of Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area, CBSFA. It is our kuleana as stewards of the land and sea to malama whatever resources we have left for future generations to come. We continue to carry on our traditions, fishing by landmarks, the koas, the owls, moon, tides, and spawning seasons. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, from swimming in the tide pools, diving in the shallows, to deep sea fishing with my dad, the abundance of fish within the Kapalilua districts was thriving. Freshwater springs was flowing. Today, not the same like back then. We support the appeals for kapulua, no take of Pakuʻikuʻi within the CBSFA. We support the hanai and harvest of the ʻŌpelu seasons. It is vital for every marine life to have its spawning seasons. Miloli is our home. Our piko is rooted to this aina. We would like to mahalo our kupunas before us, Kukulu and Elikapeka Kuahia, for bestowing the ike, and to all for allowing us to provide these testimonies. Let them go, let them grow. Aloha.
Mahalo.
So, these two are together, Shirley and Lori. Shirley and Lori. And then we're going to go back to the list. So that one gentleman?
I do. What is your name?
Shirley, yeah? Shirley and Lori,
Yes,
yes, it's your turn. I think it's, yeah. It's 50 and together. Okay. And Shirley first.
Yeah, right into the mic if you can.
Okay,
You
let
can
me
start
know.
whenever you want.
Okay. Oh, wait, I'll put them away because I automatic talk loud.
Okay.
Okay, hold on here. Hello, good evening, everyone. Aloha, my name is Lori Kasuga Matthews. I will be speaking today, or tonight, this evening, on behalf of not only myself, but my mother, Shirley Kasuga, as well. I am a born and raised Miloli'ian here today in support of the CBSFA rules package and its practices. I believe in preservation and malamaing our fishing grounds, because if we don't have rules set in place, our kids' kids will have one day nothing to eat due to lack of repopulation. These rules need to come from the CBSFA along with our own community inputs, not the state telling us what we can and cannot do. With that being said, our community should already know that we don't need anyone stopping us from getting wana, which we are happily munched on when it's in season, or haukiuki, taco, and all the sea delicacies that we are raised up on. Regarding the pakakui, and I'm going to speak on behalf of me and my family, we need to fight for this. We need to fight this. We are going to fight this. I know that the proposed 5 per was not acceptable from the state. Instead, they want 1 per person or none at all. It's obvious this right here will have to be looked at again until agreed upon. It's very hard for myself to let go of something you grew up eating. To my fellow family and community members who are here today, we need to rise up. The world is changing, that's no lie. But always remember that so long you have a single voice, it can change and overthrow any rules while not set in stone. Thank you to the CBSFA for all you have done. All I ask is that you include your community, because we are all ohana and nobody should get left behind. That is all for now. Have a blessed night. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Michaela Alford, followed by Carolyn Gershman. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Michaela Alford and I'm from Newton, Massachusetts. I am here to testify in support of the rules package for the Miloli'i Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area, CBSFA. Though I am only visiting, camping on this land for 10 days, it is overwhelmingly blatant how crucial this instatement is for the community, the environment, and the future of these species. It is the people of Miloli'i that have protected this land for generations, and it is our job and their right to make sure that it stays that way. As the world continues to change, it is tradition that roots us to each other and the land. Please help Miloli'i preserve this rich tradition of these fishing practices, as well as feed and support their community. This may not be my home, but I wish protection for every single person's community. So I support the CBSFA as if it were my own home at stake. Thank you.
Wow.
Hi, my name is Caroline Gershman and I'm from Chappaqua, New York, and I'm here to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area. I don't have facts, but I have experiences. I'm an outsider in the Miloli community, but over the last week, they've made an indelible mark on me. From being in the water in Maui to more of the northern coast of this island, I haven't found a part of the ocean with as many fish species as I've seen here. It is clear to me that if anyone understands sustainability or species resilience, it is the people of Miloli. I descend from a line of ancestors who have lost their native practices, who are removed from their roots. Here, I see children and young adults in touch with both their own prospering and that of the oceans. Taking care of your home ensures that it takes care of you, and everyone I've met in this community knows that. I'm no expert, but I think it is more than logical that we let the people that know best do what they do best. That means letting this community take care of their waters. Thank you.
Okay, the next four we have will be Lupua Mora, Lana Guy, Emily Dudley, and Wynn Wellington.
Maybe I'll go now. Will you press start? Yeah. I'll go really fast.
Yeah, right over here. Yeah, whenever you're ready, you're right on the microphone.
Hello, my name is Lana Guy. I am from Pawleys Island, South Carolina, and I am in full support of the proposed rules package. If you couldn't tell, I am from a coastal area, Pawleys Island, and my entire life I've grown up around people who fish a lot. So coming here, I thought that I already knew a little bit about fishing at least, but apparently I really knew nothing. Whenever I came here, I've learned so much about different ways to fish that I had ever thought even existed. I learned about how I thought that I knew how to make a bait ball, for one. I thought that it was drive up to the store, grab some meal in some plastic bag, and add some water and mush it into a ball and then throw it out in the water. But here, they actually take pumpkins and other vegetables and grind them up on this epic, gnarly looking grater, and then they boil it overnight. And it's so amazing how much thought and how much tradition goes into the things that they do and the way that they fish. I really think that this is such an integral part of their community and something that really needs to be preserved and be sustained. And this rules package will be able to really help sustain this area and preserve the reef, which is so integral to the community. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, right in the mic.
Hi, my name is Emily Dodley and I'm from Massachusetts. I'm here to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli. Fishing is a crucial part of life here, which includes the culture and food and so much more, which are extremely important things that give society as a whole the diverseness, vibrance, and sustenance that it has. And whatever you consider as the culture or community that you're a part of, imagine if that died out and your lifestyle drastically changed. And furthermore, imagine if no one fought for sustainability. This community is fighting for their past, present, and future. They're fighting to maintain their ancestors' legacy, their way of living, and their way of surviving. We are so desperately trying to preserve the environment. This rules package is a step in the right direction. After gaining the experience of visiting this village, I'm going home to the east coast of the U.S. inspired by this community's initiative to take action for a cause that on a small scale, but it's everything for them, affects them and the global issue of climate change. Again, I'm in support of Miloli'i's CBSFA.
Win Wellington.
No, he wants some of the others.
Here, if you like. And whenever you're ready, right into the microphone. And name, place of residence, that whether you're in support.
Aloha. My name is Ki Ke Aloha Kahiva. I'm a Keikioka Aina from Miloli. I dove every cove, every reef from Miloli all the way to Kaunā, all the way to Kīpāhoehoe. All my life, you're talking like 40, 50 years, dove this whole coastline. And I've seen the changes. Not as much fish as before. Miloli really has changed. So I support Miloli's CBSFA rules. I support that wholeheartedly. We need to do something to protect our reefs, our ocean. We need rules. I for one hate rules, but I recognize sacrifices have to be made in order to preserve what we have here. Miloli is very special. Always been known for the fish, the abundance of fish. I'm sure all of you know that now we look out on our reefs. I so used to seeing the uhu tails flashing on the reefs. Now there's nothing. So we need the rules in place, and please pass the laws that we're proposing so that we can preserve our ocean here. Thank you.
Aloha, I'm Lupua. I've had the privilege, honor, the pleasure of coming to Miloli'i. My sister married Wilfred Kaupiko. Kaimi Mahina are my nephews, and just the joy. And this is from 1981, and that's way back when Mama and Papa Kaupiko ran the store. And oh gosh, it still is beautiful, but there were fish. It would just jump right there at the bay in front of Mama and Papa's house. Manini, pakukui, kole, you name it. This is the first place I ate raw fish manini, made by Uncle Gino Kaupiko. Oh my gosh, it's the best raw fish, better than sashimi, if you ever can get it. Anyway, I am in support of the CBSFA rules that's being proposed. I believe it has many good things in it. There are some things I may not be clear on, but in general, I believe it is a very good thing. And I believe in just protecting this place, this area, the ocean, the fish, the reefs, sea life. And I just appreciate being able to experience life here. And I thank you all, and we just want to move forward. Aloha, mahalo. Good night.
All right. I'm really confused. I don't know when came. We can call him again.
I think we got
one more.
Whenever you're ready, right into the microphone and where you're from and whether you're in support or not. Thanks.
Aloha, my name is Wynn Wellington and I'm from Goshen, Indiana. I'm here to testify in full support of the rules package for the Miloli'i Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area, CBSFA, with recommendations. Mahalo.
Thank you. Delia?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Delia Avila and I'm from Colorado. As someone who has lost connection with a big part of my culture, I cannot put into words how special it has been to be invited into the Miloli community that has such a strong connection to their culture. That being said, I'm in full support of the CBSFA rule packet, for it's something that transcends temporary monetary value. It's something that once lost is hard to get back. They've seen it firsthand. And it's just been so amazing to see how special and connected everyone is with this thing. And that being said, the fishing reef is not just a reef. It goes beyond everything. So I'm in full support of that.
Whenever you're ready, right into the microphone.
Hello, my name is Omer Kitov and I'm from Brookline, Massachusetts. Mahalo for this opportunity. I am here to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli'i, Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area with comments. I'm here as part of the Carpe Diem semester program. We've spent a week in Miloli'i, and everyone from the elders to the kids have been incredibly welcoming. We've been honored to be here. Sustainability and cultural preservation have been the central themes of what we've learned, and it's very satisfying to see action being taken on the things we've heard so much about. Traditional fishing is integral to this community, so please give them the autonomy they deserve. If anyone knows what's best for the fishing areas, it's them. I strongly support the rules package for Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area.
Oh, there you go.
Sending people in there. Okay, next up is Le Aloha Naki.
Oh, thanks. We're still listening.
So she may go she's gonna turn in this written.
Okay.
So we have some cupcakes coming.
Okay.
So the last of the
Do you want me to keep like calling out, or you want to just?
Yeah. We're running out there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're moving stuff, and we're just running here. Okay, you're up next.
Gotcha. For sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
So the Kaupiko Ohana.
Cupcakes is gonna come in. It's about 4, I think, 4.
It's okay, good. Let me go back to a break. I took one.
What about you guys?
I'm good.
Thank you.
You guys ready for Cupcake?
Yep.
Yep. Right there.
I don't know where they are.
They're all together towards the end. Like maybe like the very end. Oh, it did.
Submitted first.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
what they said. Yeah, just
Perfect.
put it
Thank
in
you.
writing. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. How's it?
Aloha.
Yes, whenever you're ready.
Okay, come inside. Come.
There's another chair over there as well. Yeah.
Come around. Makana Malina. Come inside. Okay. Aloha, my name is Charles Mahina Kaupiko, and I am from this place, Miloli, born and raised. I am a lineal descendant, and my passion for this place is without words. I have something to share for many that does know. My family down here has been for many years taking care, managing, opening up their land to allow fishermen to go out to park their vehicles. We have owned and been stewards of this ahapua'a for the last generation, and we will continue to keep it that way. I am in full support of the rules package for Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area, CBSFA, and I would like to share. There is a time for everything. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. My people, there is a time to open, and now is that time to manage. I am in support of this proposal rules by our Miloli Ohana, CBSFA. While the earth remains seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. Time will tell what will come of these rules, but let's be of the side and hope and pray that this choice, this decision we make now will affect and make changes that will last an eternity. Why is this so passionate? Because this is what we were, you, me, we were created for this purpose, is to believe that we are in charge of the resources and to achieve and to enforce. Mahalo, thank you, God bless.
And yeah, whenever you're ready, right to the back.
Aloha, my name is Ezekiel Konui Makana Kaupiko. I was born and raised here in Miloli with my ohana. Mahalo for this opportunity. I'm here to testify in support of the rule package for Miloli CBSFA with recommendations. My ohana are fishermen of Miloli. Our kupuna have always been fishing in this area today. We continue this kuleana to malama aina. We continue to feed and maintain the ko'a. Today I'm here providing testimonies in support of the rule package. Our traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area designed from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapulu Point Honomalino, Kapuʻu Point, Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designed as a Puʻuhonua subzone. I like Kapulua of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be placed onto an agreed upon sunset date. My commitment is to assist the recovery of their abundance. I live here in Miloli with my ohana. I am a student at Ehonui Kaimalino School. I do my part of kilo data collections in my classroom. I support my family fishing lifestyles and the work that my ohana is doing for the rules. Miloli is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Whenever you're ready. And right to the back.
What's first? Okay. Aloha, my name is Delia Avila on a hoko kalani kavalehua kopiko. I was born and raised here in Miloli with my ohana. Mahalo for this opportunity. I'm here testifying in support of the rules package for Miloli CBSFA with recommendations. My ohana, our fishermen of Miloli, our kupuna have always been fishing in this area. Today, we continue this kuleana to malama aina. We continue to feed and maintain the ko'a fishing grounds. Today, I'm here providing testimony in support of the rules package. Our traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on unsustainable harvest methods. I support the Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Makahiki Point, Papa to Kapulua Point. Honomalino as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. I like Kapulua no take of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be placed until an agreed upon sunset date. My commitment is to assist the recovery of their abundance. I live here in Miloli with my ohana. I'm a student in Ehonui Kaimalino School and I do my part of kilo date collection in my class. I support my family's fishing lifestyle and the work that my ohana is doing for the rules. Miloli is our home. We malama our aina and feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to provide this testimony.
Aloha, o malani ke ala mele kapela kopiko. I'm from Miloli. Please tag my family. And our ocean. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Melvin Kawailehua Paio Kaupiko. My children and husband are descendants of Miloli'i. I am a descendant of Puʻuhonua and on the west, the upper north of the Big Island. This opportunity that I get to share with you folks is in support of the rules package for Miloli CBSFA recommendations.
Our ohana are fishermen, lavai'os, of this village. Our kupuna have always been fishing in this area. Today, it is our kuleana to malama the saina. We continue to feed and maintain the koa, the fishing grounds. Today, I'm here to provide testimony in support of the rules package. Our traditional and customary fishing practices are reflected in the rules package, placing kapu on sustainable harvest methods. It is our kuleana to continue to do the work that we have here in Miloli'i. We are Miloli'i, we are the strong people of the village. It is our time and it is our kuleana. We just want to ask that everyone just support us and what we have, what we're doing, what we're stewarding, for this is our time, for our children and for our future. Mahalo nui. Aloha.
Ezekiel.
Oh, I'm both.
Okay. Which one is it saying? So which is it Makana or Miloli? Is that your sister?
So that's my sister, and that's me, and my name is Ezekiel.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Are you ready, Nancy? Okay, good. That's fine. Just be sure you state your name. We'll figure it out.
Whenever you're ready.
Aloha. My name is Stephanie Smythe, and I'd like to thank the CBSFA for listening to my comments tonight. I'm in support of the bill. My late husband and I moved here in July of 2019, and we're both fishermen. I grew up in Florida, where I found the lake, where I fished streams, the lakes, and the oceans. I've always learned and kept up with the rules and the regulations, the size, the kind of fish, the fish for the areas allowed to fish in. Wherever I've lived, I've also lived in Oregon, Washington, and Colorado. Now living here in Miloli, I look to the locals and my ohana for the information that they share with me on how to fish properly, the guidelines, what areas. We need to support our local coral reefs. We have to support our fish. The ohana's way of life is sustaining off of the ocean, and I hope that CBSFA will be in support of the bill to help Miloli. Generations have been passed down to today where they need to protect not only the waters, but the lives that live in these waters. The coral, the fish, the whales, the fish that feed and spawn. For all of us, we need stricter rules, laws to protect our future. I want to help now on the future and on our natural, environmental, and of the habitats that lives here in our waters. Limits and boundaries and guidelines need to be put into place, and it is our responsibility to protect our waters. Water is precious, it's our resource, and it will show for our future generations of what we have to offer them by acting now. And I thank you for your time. Mahalo. Thank you.
Are you good? Be sure to talk into the mic.
Aloha everyone, my name is Luke Hawkins and I'm from the Bay Area, California. I am here to testify in strong support of the rules package for Miloli'i Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area. Although I have only been here a week, I have grown to know and love the community here in Miloli'i. It is inspiring to see the togetherness of all of the residents here and how everyone works together to support the people and maintain Hawaiian culture. Miloli'i is such a wholesome, lively place, the last fishing village on the island of Hawaii. Staying here has made me realize how the world should work, to live sustainably, to love each other, to respect the food we eat, to work together as a community, and quite frankly, to live as we all should. I urge the DAR to pass these rules crafted by the people of Miloli'i in order to preserve the culture and authenticity of this beautiful village. Mahalo nui.
And then Rebecca.
Rebecca's. Great. Next up, we have Cahill Spall.
Coming in. Okay.
I did. You just
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Cahill Spall. I'm from Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Mahalo for this opportunity. I'm here to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli'i Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area with recommendations. My time in Miloli'i has been short, but it's been powerful. What I've learned here has been profoundly simple. In the time is to listen, and for people to say less and to listen to those who have the knowledge of place more. Change is coming, and it's time for us to all put our hours in, and I thank the people of Miloli'i for inspiring myself, inspiring the students who I've come here with to show the world that change is possible in the face of extreme adversity, hardship, and segregation. Thank you for keeping fighting. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo. Next up, we have Becca Most, followed by Mara Santos, Andrew Klein, and Linda Safri. Whenever you're ready, great.
Aloha. Mahalo piha to the Miloli'i Ohana. Mahalo piha to the Division of Aquatic Resources and all that have taken time to join this important public hearing for the Miloli'i CBSFA rules. My name is Rebecca Most, and I'm the Hawaii Island Marine Program Manager for the Nature Conservancy. I am honored to be able to submit testimony on behalf of the Nature Conservancy in support of the Miloli'i CBSFA rule package, and we encourage the State Board of Land and Natural Resources to approve the CBSFA rules. The rule proposal under consideration today is a testament to the hard work of the community who engaged in collaborative planning, scientific monitoring, diligent communication, and extensive outreach to create sustainable place-based fishing rules. The community spent 10 years to thoughtfully deliberate and communicate internally and externally to ensure that the decisions were reflective of the compromises needed to reach agreement and preserve the local knowledge of what is best for their place. The Miloli'i community has worked diligently with the State Division of Aquatic Resources throughout this process, and the Nature Conservancy has worked closely with Miloli'i for decades and have directly observed the diligence and hard work that they have invested in community-based management. Examples include the numerous Lawai'a Pono camps and educational programs led by the community to nurture the next generation of fishers, their extensive community research that integrates traditional and contemporary methods, their extensive community research that integrates traditional and contemporary methods to monitor the health, abundance, and seasonal cycles of their marine resources, a long-standing Makai Watch program with a local coordinator to ensure violations are addressed with enforcement agencies, the Kalani Hali local nonprofit that leads with the Aloha spirit, develops respectful relationships with partners, and perpetuates the traditional knowledge and practices of the Ohana, and the Miloli'i's engagement across communities through participation in statewide and regional networks such as Ealapu and the Kaikuliana Network. The proposed CBSFA rules under consideration are thoughtfully developed to ensure that the fishing practices can continue while restoring fisheries abundance, and they include bag limits that protect species vulnerable to overharvest, size limits that increase fisheries replenishment, a network of spatial management areas, or puʻuhonua, to benefit adjacent areas through spillover, seasonal spawning closures to prevent catch during reproductive periods, and gear and aquarium fishing restrictions to perpetuate traditional fishing practices. We recognize that there have been some changes to the rules that were originally proposed by the community. The Nature Conservancy would like to encourage the state to find collaborative solutions to ensure the rules reflect the values, intentions, and goals of both the state and the community to build a sustainable subsistence fishery that can support generations to come. We would like to applaud the Miloli community's thoughtful approach to ensure that marine resources are well cared for and thriving. They are a model throughout Hawaii of the value of community-based management and are admired for their perseverance and thoughtfulness to ensure their traditions are perpetuated. We encourage BLNR to approve the Miloli'i CBSFA rules package to achieve the 30 by 30 Olomua initiative. And this rule package will build local food security, perpetuate traditions, and help ensure the long-term ecological health of our island's marine resources. Thank you.
Mahalo.
My name is Mara.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just great green light and name, where you're from, and whether you're in support or not.
Good evening. My name is Mara Santos, and I would firstly like to thank the community of Miloli'i for their hard work over the years to bring this initiative to this point. I specifically would like to thank Kaimi and Leila for offering me this invitation to speak. I want to humbly add my voice in support of this community with recommendations for this initiative. Who better than the Kama'aina of this land to be the stewards to take care of the Aina and the Kai, for they have the ancestral knowledge that the rest of us do not. This is a crucial point in the future of the population here, both in water and on land. And I can speak firsthand of the damage that is done when traditional practices are lost. My grandmother was born on a very small island over 8,000 miles away from here. Her island, unfortunately, has lost its traditional practices, and it suffers now because of this. The current generations don't know how to create opportunities for their children, and they don't know what the future holds. Now tourism has become the main industry with no other options in sight. There is a vibrant community here in Miloli'i who is willing to fight to preserve and teach these practices. It would be a shame to lose this opportunity and lose this way of life for this village and also for all of the descendants to come in the future. Hawaii has already suffered so much due to the influences of outside people, outside practices and beliefs. Let's let Miloli'i continue to be resilient and steadfast in their traditional ways. Mahalo.
All right. Next up, we have Andrew Klein. How's it? Yeah, you see? Yeah, right to the microphone whenever you're ready.
Hello, I'm Andrew Klein. I'm from Texas. I'm 19. Mahalo for this opportunity. I'm here to testify in support of the rules package from Miloli, Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area. I'm a visitor and I've just been treated extremely well by the community here and just want to thank them. And yeah, I think that they should have the opportunity to take care of what is theirs and the right to everything around here. Thank you. Mahalo. Mahalo.
All right, next up is Linda Safari.
There we go. Okay, so Henry Cho is the next one. Because we're powered all of these guys. Like we pull them up
Okay. Deja went. Oh,
She never wanted to.
Nope.
So we're pal with Linda. She's not gonna go Saturday.
I think they said she left. We can make an announcement.
Okay. Well, she hasn't come.
And wait, who's the next person here? You said Joe.
No, these are all no's. Except we pulled them all out.
Oh,
Henry Cho.
Okay.
So you can call the Linda Safri, see if she's here, but I think she left.
Okay, is Linda Safri here? Linda Safri, if you're here, you can come into the testimony room, please.
And Henry Cho.
If not, then Henry Cho IV, you are next.
Mike and Dry. Did Henry sign up? Did Kevin Shang sign up? Ask if he wants to.
I know he was planning on it. I know he was planning on it.
I know. I think he forgot to sign up. I'll go ask him.
Yeah.
So Henry Cho and the other one was no. No.
Okay.
And then Mike Andrade. He might have left, but I think same thing as in the recording.
Okay, is Mike Andrade here? Mike Andrade. What's your name?
Nick Fraser.
Nick Fraser.
Or a second.
We see you.
Oh, yeah, we got you down.
Oh, you're next.
Okay.
Take him.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm a man of food.
Into the mic with your feet.
Very cool.
Aloha. My name is Nick Fraser, and I've had the privilege of growing up on the shoreline and kai of Miloli. I am in support of the rules of the Miloli CBSFA and the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area. It is our kuleana to malama, our aina and kai for our future generations. In the 30 years I've been fishing here, there's been a decline of all fish from inshore to the deep. And it's awesome to see everyone coming together to protect the shoreline for future generations. I would like my daughter to grow up going holo holo and practicing Ono fishing practices. And the CBSFA is a step in the right direction. Mahalo for everybody for working together to make this happen. Mahalo.
And then, Manao Alu.
Is Manao Alu here as well?
Otherwise, Nandini is here. Wait, stay here.
If you are, please come to the testimony room, please. If not, next up we have Melanie Dudley. Yeah, go ahead and take a seat. Yeah, whenever you're ready, right in the mic.
Aloha, aloha nui kako. My name is Melanie Leila Dudley, and I'm here to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area with comments. I was born and raised in Kīpāhoehoe. I'm an Aina educator and cultural practitioner and see the importance of pilina with Aina. Their relationship with Aina, that which feeds us and is not limited to what is on land. It also extends to our kai, to our i'a, to our ko'a, and the upuko'a, the coral polyp, the first thing born in the kumulipo, and the foundation of our lives, and really the only reason that we as people are able to live. He kawa ke kanaka he ali'i ka aina. Aina is all of our greatest hukuna. And regardless of where we are from, whether we are or aren't kanaka maoli, because we eat from this soil, we eat from our kai, we breathe from this place and drink from this place. We have a kuleana, a responsibility to Hawai'i, as our greatest ancestor and our ohana member. As a part of this kuleana, we need to make sure that the kupuna of this place, and I mean people, but I'm also referring to our kai, our i'a, our limu, our opihi, that these kupuna are momona, that they are thriving and abundant. The people of this place here, yeah, the ohana of Miloli, know how to do just that. They have exemplified what a healthy relationship with aina looks like. But this is becoming more challenging as their own kupuna, this i'a, are no longer thriving like they should be. And this also means challenges for the lineal descendants of this place. Furthermore, it's important that we understand that the rules and the laws of the occupied state of Hawaii, they can't be the same, right, for all of these places, because we understand that all of our places are unique. Just how Miloli is different from any other place in the world. Just like my home in Makahanalua is very different. We must understand that the rules and the laws must also be different. So with that said, and being our little Tita Makahanalua, who's going to be raised in this place, we are just really in complete support of the people of Miloli. And we also support the Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā, to Kapula'u Point, Honomalino, as Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. We also support the Pakuʻikuʻi species rule to reflect that of what Miloli community designates, as they are the generational stewards of Kapaliua. Finally, we really want our daughter to be able to have a relationship with this place, a relationship with Miloli and the kai of Miloli, and this can only be done if these i'a are cared for correctly, and that needs to be done with rules and regulations because people no longer are raised with this ethic.
All right, next we have Mahesh Cleveland.
Oh, okay. And then Kevin.
Yeah, whatever. And right into the microphone.
Okay, aloha. My name is Mahesh Cleveland. Originally from Ho'okala, Maui. I reside in Manoa, and I support the Miloli CBSFA. Actually wasn't gonna talk, but the birthday boy Uncle Willie said go talk. To introduce myself, I'm a lawyer. I represent Uncle Willie and Kaimi and others in some lawsuits having to do with aquarium collection. And in case the State Ethics Commission is listening, I'm also a registered lobbyist. What we do with the litigation is sometimes a very important back-end process where we have to do what we need to protect the resources after things have already happened that threaten them. But that should always be the last resort. Lawyers like me should always be the last resort. Community-based, Kanaka value-based, sustainability-based management is the future. And if you have good management, you don't need lawyers. The difference I see in the types of management that we see the conflict between is that a lot of times people who fish with commercial interests, their idea of sustainability is how do we sustain the ability to take from this resource? It's management for scarcity. What Kanaka have always done and what this CBSFA represents is managing for momona, it's managing for abundance. It's saying how do we sustain the resource so that we always have something to eat, not how do we sustain our ability to take from the resource for money. And so that's why I'm here to support this CBSFA, and I hope that the work that the folks of Miloli are doing can provide a great example for communities all across the Paʻaina who also want to see their resources managed sustainably for all the future generations. So mahalo for allowing me to speak, and please approve the rules package for the CBSFA. Mahalo. Mahalo. Thanks, guys.
All right, next up we have Melissa Wade Crawford and Taha Kahele.
But he knows, I think, that he's the third. Are they still here? Are they coming?
Okay. Son.
Oh, sweet.
You need the metal chair, bro.
Yes, I do indeed.
Okay, so are we sure the last one?
Kevin is coming in. Do you want him to go before you?
Who's Kevin so we can talk to him? No, it's okay. Let Kevin close. Yeah. It's better.
How I hate so.
Okay. Aloha, Ohana. Thank you for hanging out and just staying with us for this public hearing. But Ohana, okay, let me pass on my paper. There it is. My name is Melissa Ann Mahelani Waite Crawford, and I am a child of God and a believer and follower of Jesus Christ. And right now, I want to also mention that I am a lineal descendant of the Puʻuhonua of Miloli Fishing Village. I am here to testify in support of the rules package for Miloli Community-Based Subsistence Fishing Area with recommendations. While requesting approval to hold this public hearing, the rules package proposed by our community was modified. Therefore, I provide recommendations on 3 specifics of the rules package regarding those changes. The first one is I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Paʻakai Point, Pāpā to Kapuʻu Point, Honomalino as Honomalino Bay, which is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. Great, next page. The second is Miloli appeals for kapuloa, no take of Pakuʻikuʻi throughout the CBSFA to be established until an agreed upon sunset date. This highest protection from Kanaka behavior is our commitment to assisting the recovery of their abundance. And the third one is our original intent to have 5 pakuʻikuʻi per person per day. Our ohana cannot survive on 1 or 3. It is 5. Let this be heard, because our community's voice needs to be heard first and foremost above anything else or anyone else's modifications. This is our community, and this is what they want. Miloli is our home, our piko, and we are mauli au honua of this place. We malama our aina, and we feed our people. Mahalo for allowing me to testify. And with that, I think we ready to party hardy because we know where it's going, right, Ohana? That's right. Jesus, we know you're making a way for all of this. So I thank you, and I pass the mic on to my son, Taha Kahelen.
Cool. Sorry. Oh, you're good. Here. It was emotional. Okay, how do I speak? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Taha Havika Keiki Mailani Ame Papa Kaleponi Kahele. Allow me to tell you about my village of Miloli. The sea and the marine ecosystem is so important to us that we cherish it more than anything else, with its price worth more than ego, pride, or gold. For years, my ancestors who are indigenous to this land have lived and benefited off of the land. And for years, it has become integrated into our culture and identity. And therefore, I can say with confidence confidence and pride that my family and I, along with my fellow colleagues, constitute this land. Because of our ancestors' great achievements in their time, they have created traditional practices meant to be passed down to the future generations. But sadly, few of them have made it to the modern era. Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen, the time to act. Sadly, at such a young age, I am 15, I have come to the conclusion of a grim reality which we live in. And in this reality, I see my village, my people suffer, my Hawai'i suffering from the depletion of our marine ecosystem. I see the land and the sea suffering because of this. I hear and see my ancestors weeping because of the way we treat the sea and the land. But now, ladies and gentlemen, my family and I, along with our colleagues, were able to work on a solution, and today you have been presented with these solutions. I urge you to act not as your ego, your pride, or your position you hold in this society. I humbly ask for your decision as a human being, and I hope you will choose the right one today. One that we all can stand to benefit, a decision that benefits our marine ecosystem and its future role. And its future role in the modern society. My ancestors have once said, "Ua mau ke ia o ka aina I ka pono." The life of this land is perpetuated in righteousness, which has now become our beloved state's motto. And if we were to reflect on these words, we will know that as Hawaiians, we have not been able to fulfill these words. But now is the time to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to make a decision to fulfill our state's motto, to preserve and to conserve our marine ecosystem, our culture, our identity, our Hawaii, and who we will stand to benefit from this, you might ask. Not only my generation, but the next future of my people and our culture. The Hawaiian people have an extraordinary ability to live off of the land and to malama the sea, but if we are not able to exercise this, then what are we to call ourselves? We cannot call ourselves Hawaiian, because true Hawaiians malama the aina. So let us be able to call ourselves Hawaiian with pride and the ability to secure our people's future. With this said, ladies and gentlemen, I am here before you testifying in support of the rules package for Miloli's CBSFA. I am also in support of the Pākuʻikuʻi Rest Area from Makahiki Point and from Pāpā to Kapuʻa Point. With Honomalino Bay being designated as the Puʻuhonua subzone on behalf of my family and I, we are deeply appreciative and in gratitude for your time today. Mahalo.
Okay. All right, Kevin Chang, you're up next. Feel free to adjust as you need.
Don't know how to follow that up, so let's do something simple. Good job to all. Hello everybody, my name is Kevin Chang. I work for an organization called Kua'aina Ulu Awamo, which means grassroots growing through shared responsibility. We support the rules as amended by the community on the Pākuʻikuʻi species rules and the rest area boundaries. We stand on our testimony only to add the following. We support the sentiments as expressed by some of our kupuna today, including Uncle Mac Poi Poi, Uncle Damian Kennison, Uncle Charlie Young, Auntie Maka'ala Ka'omoana, Uncle Solomon Kaho'ohalahala, and further, we stand in support and wish a happy birthday to Willie Kaupiko, who like people previously stated in my list. And folks like Uncle Gil Kahele, Eddie Ka'anana, Uncle Walter Paulo, and many of the kupuna behind me were part of the movement to create the laws that created the reason why we sit here today before you, and planted the seeds of an effort that's turned into a community movement to Malama, Hawaii. Eo Miloliʻi, mahalo.
Mahalo, Kevin. That was great.
Good enough.
Katie, you said there's two more. Two more.
Do we have names? Whenever you're ready.
Felina mai me ke aloha, o wau no uʻilani nai po. I'm a lineal descendant, and this is my grandpa. This is my grandpa Eugene Keaweiki Kaupiko, and this is my grandma right here. Sarah Kapila Kaimi Kaupiko. I'm here providing testimony of support for the rules package from Miloli CBSFA. It's been a long time, a lot of work of a lot of people. I stand on my testimony I gave earlier. I just wanted to speak to 2 points. One is to provide a little bit of clarity of our response to the Pakuʻikuʻi species rule. You know, our commitment, just like how you see here before us right here, our kupuna is the reason why, and our keiki are the reason why we're doing what we're doing. They started all of this. They would want us to continue this. And so when we had a community meeting and we discussed about the Pakuʻikuʻi, 5 was definitely what we asked for. And everybody agreed upon it. When we paused and we had to consider, were there other folks outside of the village that would comply? We realized that that wasn't going to happen. And so the very hard decision came down to making the sacrifice for the honor that a kupuna have for this fish. The Levites sacrificed and said, you know what, shut it down. If no one else is going to do the proper code of conduct that we're asked for, that we of the stewards of this aina, then shut it down. And that's the sacrifice they made. They said, yeah, we'll wait, we'll bring it back when it's time. But that speaks to our commitment of the natural resources of our area. It speaks to our commitment for our kupuna. But that sacrifice, no one will ever understand that. We self-regulate ourselves, so we don't take even 5. But when we take 5, we're feeding 3 or 4 households. So under that understanding, we have to make the decision to give up, to feed our kupuna. And that's the hardest thing to do. Our commitment also is, as we move forward, for rules adoptions, we are committed to putting together a marine management organization to make sure that we align with all the partners and the agencies. And as well, we're moving Mohalana Konihiki Miloliʻi into a position where they're caretakers of the narrative. The aina-based knowledge from our kupuna will be held by them. They're representing the Miloliʻi community. I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming all the way to Miloliʻi. You know, this is known as the last Hawaiian fishing village, but you know it's not. And it's only if we allow the narrative and other communities like Miloliʻi, like Moʻomomi, like Kīpāhoehoe, if we allow them and the people of the places to carry out their traditional practices, they too can be Hawaiian fishing villages, known by all. Thank you so much. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Yeah, let's go.
Whenever you're ready.
Aloha mai kākou, o wau no ke house bringer, no kaimuki mai au,
Noho wau ma kia o moko o ke awe. Mahalo nui for the opportunity. I'm here to testify in full support of the rules package for the Miloli CBSFA with comments. I work for an ocean conservation nonprofit that has been working alongside the Ohana Miloli'i since 2011. Today I'm here to provide testimony in support of the Miloli CBSFA under my own personal capacity and not for my organization. I have the utmost respect and honor to know that the Ohana Miloli'i are generational aloha aina of this area of Kapalilua. Their genealogy traces them back to this area way before Western contact. And I would also argue that they were one of the last remaining villages that were able to provide sustenance for the early voyages to and from Kahikinui and the South Pacific. They were not only able to survive in this Kapalilua region, they were able to thrive as a network of villages and also provision the va'a prior to these ocean voyages. I've been very fortunate to be able to dive and kilo alongside the Ohana in Miloli'i for over a decade while conducting monitoring in the nearshore reefs, intertidal and coastal systems. The kupuna seen and unseen are present on every dive, every walk along the shoreline. Their place names and their leo are uplifted and resonate throughout this whole region while we are present in their space. At the request for a public hearing, Miloli'i proposed rules package was modified. I support the recommendations of the Miloli'i community on the 2 points of their rules package. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi Rest Area to be designated from Makahiki Point, Pāpā to Kapulau Point, Honomalino, as the Honomalino Bay is designated as a Puʻuhonua subzone. I support the Pakuʻikuʻi species rule to reflect that of what the Miloli'i community designates as they are the generational stewards of Kapalilua. I support this subsistence fishing community in their kuleana to malama aina to feed their people now and into the future. This rules package reflects the sound rationale, their traditional fishing practices, and expresses their intimate relationship they have with their aina, their kupuna, for now and into the future. Ahileo ha'a valeno maha. Mahalo.
Okay, if there's anybody else that would like to provide testimony, here's your last chance. We will be wrapping it up here momentarily.
Let's go. Let's go.
Alright, then give us a few moments to switch back to the to the stage and finish this out.